Welcome to the C2C podcast. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the home of modern finance, modern dating, current events, and many other things. We're back with you this week. Thank you for being here. Let's get right into it. So what are we talking about tonight? Well, current events. And within that current event, we're actually going to be taking our first foray into the political space. Just a little bit. Remember, we talked about that a couple videos way back when we started the channel. We were going to kind of take a little bit of a foray into the political space. I don't like politics. I think it's highly toxic and highly divisive. However, it's a fact of life that we must acknowledge exists. And at the end of the day, these folks that get elected do determine how our lives go to a large degree, right? So what better time as we heat up and head into election season, which will be coming up pretty soon, to broach this topic. With that being said, what's really going on in Florida? Because I'm confused. We've been talking about what 2-3 days now. We're getting a lot of TikTok videos sent our way from a lot of people who are telling us about all this stuff that's happening in Florida. We live here, and we have no idea what they're talking about. So that's what we need your help today to kind of navigate and find out what is really going on. So, with that being said, let me just touch on the items that we're going to cover tonight, and then we'll get right into the meat. So right now, here's what's really going on from our perspective. So right now, Florida obviously is a hotbed right now. It's a hot topic for a lot of different factors. Everybody knows, we had a massive spike in new residents that came in mainly between 2019, 2020 during the COVID lockdowns, or C-19, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
What did that do? Well, what that did was, did it bring money into the state? Yes. What else did it do? Well, it caused a massive inflation in rental inflation, property insurance. Those are things that if you talk to, at least where we're here in South Florida, if you talk to people down here, everyone's dealing with that. It doesn't matter if it's homeowners. If you're renting, you're even in worse shape. I should know. We should know, I should say. But it's kind of like a perfect storm that has happened that has put us in this situation. So again, what's really going on? Is it somebody's fault? Is it bad governorship? And we are going to talk about Governor Ron DeSantis today, because this man is extremely popular. And he's extremely, depending on who you talk to, he's either loved or hated, right?
Yeah.
So, and the viewpoints are so dramatically different, right? That this is such a fascinating topic that we can't ignore it.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, we're recording this on a Tuesday. He's expected to announce his presidential candidacy on Wednesday. So, depending upon when you see this video, this is the eve of his candidacy declaration. So we're gonna go into that, and we're gonna touch on that as well. First, rental inflation. Let's touch on that first. You're looking for a place now, yes?
Yes.
How's that going?
It went well for me,
Mhm.
but there's just it is what it is to live here. Those are the numbers. There's no way around it.
Mhm.
Eh, For that, that's what it costs.
Mhm.
So
Now, let me
I
ask you,
mean,
because one of the things I've heard, and you've heard, is that there either is or going to be a mass exodus of workers, immigrant workers, specifically from Florida, because of some of the policies that apparently Mr. DeSantis is pushing or to implement. So I've started asking people, hey man, like, do you know people that are, maybe here, that are immigrants that are planning to leave, right?
hmm
And I've been asking around. So far, I haven't found anyone. So, audience, I'm asking you, do you know anyone? Leave us in the comments, chat. I want to hear from these folks and find out, what is
like,
it
is
that,
it really happening? Because there's a
right?
lot of videos on TikTok making it look like there's no one working here,
Mm-hmm.
making it look like nothing's being built and nobody's picking the fruit and no one's doing the roofing.
Mm-hmm.
And I, I mean, where I was today, I saw plenty of people working. I don't see it. And you say you haven't seen it. And you've shown people um, in other areas of South Florida, like, down in Brickell or wherever.
Oh yeah.
And construction was still going on. So And this whole stance on it's dangerous for Black people to be here. You know, Florida is primarily a very brown place.
Extremely brown.
Um,
Well, South Florida. So we kind of have to, I guess, qualify that because South Florida and the rest of Florida is very different.
yeah,
We obviously is the most expensive pocket down here. Broward, Dade counties,
Palm Beach.
Palm Beach as well. Once you get out of those counties, the things are a lot different, right?
Yeah.
The population starts to thin out. It starts to get a little bit different. But our perspective obviously is, South Florida, where we live. Um, and I, I'm confused about the NAACP thing that came out, where the NAACP actually went out and issued an advisory against people of color traveling to Florida. Is that real, guys? Because that sounds ridiculous to me. I'm just going to be perfectly honest with you. I think I'm going to be totally transparent. I think that's ridiculous. And I think I don't see anything positive that can come out of saying stuff like that. Right. To me, all that's doing is pushing division.
Well, it
What do you
sounds
say?
to me, it seems and sounds like a witch hunt. Like they've started something because anyone that I've brought it up to, and I know a lot of brown people, they don't know what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
We're all just kind of living our lives, and no one's racial profiling us. No, this is not happening.
Not here.
I mean,
So
I haven't. I mean, as far as I know, I haven't.
if you're in
No,
another part of Florida and this stuff is happening, I mean, hey,
yeah,
we want to know because, like I said, hey, this is an educational channel. At the end of the day, if this stuff's happening, we would like to know. We'd like to hear some stories. We'd like to hear from you because
yeah,
right
like
now
from
it
people
seems
that live here and like real videos, because I think I've seen some of the videos going around, and it's a lot of opinionated people that don't live
that
here.
don't live here and on TikTok of all places. Now, which leads into the next bullet point. So, okay, so first of all, who is Ron DeSantis, right? So he was elected governor, reelected here recently, 2022. He won over Charlie Crist. It wasn't close. So by virtue of the way that the votes landed, he won in a landslide. So the people in Florida highly approve of his job. That's what it tells me, right? Um, Now he's expected to announce his candidacy. That's triggered a windfall of negative videos and things that people are putting out in either regular media or in on TikTok. Lots of people that, from what I've seen, and I've only watched a couple of them, those people don't even live in Florida. So it seems to me what it is that these people are hearing things or they read something on maybe their Twitter feed or something, took it as fact, and then they go out on TikTok and then they just blare misinformation. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that believe whatever they see on TikTok.
Even the NAACP and all of these people coming out at the same time. It's NAACP, the LGBTQA, and everything, and the Latin, some sort of Latin coalition or division or something, are all band together, and they've all said all the same things at the same time right before his can. It just seems very well planned to me.
Yeah, it seems a little convenient. And listen, I'm a registered independent. I am.
I am as well.
I was a lifelong Democrat when I think I turned 18.
I
Registered
used
to
to
vote
be
and
too.
everything. I deregistered from that party in 2013. There's a lot of reasons for that. I'd have to do a whole nother show on it. But I'm actually independent. I'm not allowed to vote in the primaries, which is that's the
Mhm.
shrapnel you take for being independent. But it matters to me. I don't want my name on a mailing list of either of the parties. That's just me personally.
Yes.
I don't get caught in the identity of either party, right? I go by the candidate, I go by what they can potentially do, and I go for the betterment of everybody. That's the way I look at it. I don't wear team colors. Too many people wear team colors, and they'll vote for somebody they don't like just to support their team color.
Or no matter what they're doing or have done, they'll
Yeah,
vote for them again anyway.
they'll totally ignore a track record of debauchery
Hmm.
and go vote anyway. And then what they'll say is it's the lesser of two evils. That's the one you always hear, and that's the biggest cop out in the world. My opinion is this: if you don't like the candidate, don't vote for that candidate. Does that make sense?
Well, they're been brainwashed that you're throwing your vote away.
Right. You're throwing your vote away. And guys, this is funny because here's what's funny. I remember I voted for an independent candidate in the 2016 election, and I got a lot of flack from a lot of people on both sides of the aisle. Man, they were telling me, you just threw your vote away, and you sticking your head in the sand. And I'm like, or I voted for the candidate that I thought would be the best for the country. How about that? And the only reason, guys, here's what's so crazy about the political system, why it annoys me so much, is that people believe that there's only two candidates that you can vote for. That's only true because people believe it's true. Look at the ballot next time. There's a lot of people on there, but here's the thing: those people on the ballot, they're not going to get the backing of the mainstream media to be able to go on TV and tell you why to vote for them. It's a money game, right? It's a money game, and we know the Democrats and Republicans have all the money, so only their candidates get in. Like, the game is rigged, guys. It's rigged. Like, I hope this isn't news to y'all. Like, I hope it's not. Like, I mean, maybe it is, but trust me. I don't foray into politics much, but I know a lot about it. I used to watch this stuff religiously. I used to follow local elections, mayor elections, gubernatorial. I used to follow all this stuff. Remember, I tell you, I was big into history, right? In school. I did a project in school in the electoral college that got an award. Like, I was into this stuff, deep into this stuff, because I thought it was real back then. I thought it was real. Like, when I was high school, I thought, like, these people really want to do, improve the country and do this for you and that for you. And I wanted to believe it. And then I realized it was all BS. All it is, and I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole too much. That'll be another show.
Yeah.
But it's mostly BS. Which is why when I see things like this, like when I see all of a sudden these stories and tell everybody on TikTok and all,
especially when the bomb drops all at the same time, conveniently a day or two before, and it raises the question, it raises the eyebrow. Why are they gunning for this guy so hard, right?
I think I know why.
And I mean, if you look at the videos, people boycott Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and if you read the comments, because I'm a comment person, people are going bashing. Well, I'll never go on vacation there again. Well, I was planning to go, but I'm not going. Like, it's like watching the sheep be herded.
There you go. That's a good way to put it. Because here's what's really going on. Okay, Florida got 300,000 new residents in about a year and a half. Okay, Florida, Tennessee, and Texas, or it's actually Texas. I think it was Texas, Florida, Tennessee, in that order. They were the top three states to get population increase during the lockdowns. There's reasons for that.
There was a mass exodus.
We can do a whole nother show on that.
The blue states that were miserable to live in. We were good enough. He was being praised about how well he handled C-19, about how wonderful Florida was thriving, even though we weren't wearing masks and going to work and everything like that, and how we were the first to open up, and we had a mass exodus. Our population boomed. That's another reason why our rent went up so high.
Absolutely.
And then when the heat got to be too much, because it is too much, and now their states are open, they're leaving, and now the angry libs of TikTok
I've heard of them.
Yeah, and everywhere else, because NAACP and the Latin Coalition, whatever the name of that was, and the LGBTQ, they're part of it too.
But guys, let me ask you this though, because when I hear that this whole argument about he doesn't want them to teach Black history and he doesn't want them to talk about LGBTQ stuff or whatever. Listen, guys, and I really can't even believe that this is a debate. But if there's anybody watching that would like for their kindergartner's teacher to talk to them about their sexual escapades, I'd like to have you on the show to ask you why.
Gay or straight.
Okay. And again, I didn't say nothing about which way. I'm talking about period. Period. And why do I say that? Because I think one of those libs of TikTok people, I saw a video. She's a teacher in Florida, and she was crying about how she was told and reprimanded because she was speaking in class about her date that she was on with her partner over the weekend. She's a first grade teacher. That's inappropriate conversation. And if there's anyone watching who doesn't agree with that, please, I'd like to hear from you. Send us a comment. We'll contact you and have you on the show, and tell us why you think that that's okay.
Yeah.
Because in reality, I don't think anyone agrees with it. But again, we go back to team colors. And if your team tells you it's okay, a lot of you guys say, okay. That's really what happens. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's why I don't like politics, because it literally blinds people to common sense.
Thank you. That's a yes.
It blinds them.
Yes.
They literally, you can
Yes.
put something in somebody's face that makes no sense whatsoever, but you tell them that their party supports it and they will do it anyway.
hmm
It's amazing to me. It's the closest thing to mind control that I've ever seen. So, and listen, again,
I call it hypnosis.
and
Liberal hypnosis.
TikTok has 150 million users in the United States. It's got reach. So if you can get a narrative going, even if there's no truth to it, you can sway an election. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm asking what's really going on. And don't worry, there's going to be a follow-up to this show where I'm actually going to bring on a political expert who's going to be able to actually talk about the devil in the details of a lot of these things that people are saying that DeSantis is doing. Because I don't know. I'm telling you right now, transparency. I don't know the minutia of any of this stuff, so I can't speak to that. But I can just speak that in general. Most of the people that I talk to, when I ask them, hey, now people do complain about the cost down here, but listen,
They're mad at DeSantis, not at where it came from.
yeah, it's like misdirected anger. Like I talked to somebody, right, that they were furious that their rent, like I said, our rent, everybody's rent went up, right? This person's furious that their rent went up, and they blame it specifically on him, saying that, well, he should have done something to prevent that. I agree with that in a roundabout way. I don't know I think what should have happened, while they were, instead of passing out stimulus money and all this stuff that they were doing, what I think they should have done is actually, okay, people have to live, right? People have to live in their homes, and people need a roof over their head first. Why don't we put a moratorium on, or put a cap, maybe nationally, and say, hey, man, listen, guys, we're all in this together, right? We're all in this together. Don't put your tenants on the street. Like, you know what? Let's listen. Let's nominal increases. We understand. You guys, you got to make your money, but listen, you don't raise somebody's rent 20-30% overnight. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong on any level. Now, if DeSantis himself had the power to do that, I don't know if he could have done that in Florida. I do not know. If he could have, he should have. I agree.
Yes.
He should have done something to say, hey, listen, let's put a cap, whether it's 5%, whatever, 10%, whatever it is. Let's make it something reasonable, so you don't have somebody.
Because this was crazy.
It was insane.
What happened was crazy.
It's just wrong on every level. I mean, and anyone you talk to, no one is happy with it. Like everyone you talk to, they're like, yeah, it's happening. Oh God. And it's not just rent, but listen, homeowners insurance, HOA fees. I've talked to guys whose HOAs doubled. So everyone's getting squeezed.
Yeah.
But again, I don't, to just say that it's him, that means that we're ignoring the fact that we got 300,000 residents from other states where people were unhappy, right? Like,
Completely.
Okay, here's one example. I'm in a barbershop last week, talking to a guy in there. He tells me, he says, I got this friend in New York. She came down here for a vacation, just for a weekend, long weekend. This was, still when a lot of other states were locked down. She was jaw dropped that we were open, like, because where she's from, she lived in New York. She said it's miserable there. She's like, I hate it. You can't do anything. Everything's shut down. You can't do anything. It's miserable. It's depressing. So of course they're going to come where they're told that everything's open and you can go and live your life and actually earn a living. I mean, these folks were telling you can't go to work.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. The lockdown thing really, really annoys me. So I don't even want to talk about that, because that was one of the stupidest things I've ever seen in my life. But that's for a whole nother show. I always tell her, when I went to IKEA to get a chair, And I pull up there and I'm looking at, and there's like a line of people outside standing behind these taped lines. And I'm sitting there like, for what? For what? Why? You know what I did? I saw that. I pulled up and I was like, I need an office chair, right? I pulled up. I see the line of I said, I went home. I ordered it on Amazon. I said, this is dumb. And all y'all people standing in the line, I'm sitting there like, why are you doing this? It was hot outside too. It was hot outside. People were standing out there. They have, everybody had a mask on. So it's hot under the mask. Your mask is all dirty, his mask. You know what I'm saying? It was just dumb. It was annoying. It was like, okay, what's going on? So if you tell somebody, hey, man, you ain't got to do that in Florida.
Right.
Everybody's coming down. So
which they did.
And they did.
It was crowded.
Very, very crowded. Now it's thinning out a little bit now. It's thinning
And
out.
I will, about the thinning out. Is it coincidental that our season is never summer? Mm-hmm. It always thins out in summer. Mm-hmm. Always. Now it seems a little more thinner than usual. Traffic has been quite tolerable lately. Mm-hmm. I've noticed a big difference. But these people that are also on TikTok talking about their business is slow. Mm-hmm. If you're in a tipping business that I worked in over 12 years down here, it was never money to be made during the summer.
That's interesting.
And the snowbirds come back after hurricane season. Everybody comes back after hurricane season. And then you start making money again. The summers are always slow. So is it coincidental that we're going into summer as well? Are we taking into consideration that? Has anyone
That's interesting perspective, because I didn't really know that. Like, I never worked in a tipping business, so I didn't know that.
Ask any waitress, ask any bartender. Your summers are always slower.
Interesting. So, again, what's really going on? And I don't think this whole the LGBTQ stuff. Listen, I've said it on other shows. I don't have anything against those folks. You're free to live your life, but I don't believe that we should be discussing your ideology in classrooms. I don't think it's appropriate. I don't. That's not a place where those kids are there to learn reading, writing, arithmetic, right? Remember we used to say that?
And, I feel like people are mad at DeSantis for giving grown-ups rules, because it's unfortunate that we have to give grown-ups rules. Teachers, you can't talk about your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your sexual escapades, what you did over the weekend. It's inappropriate. You're a teacher. And parents, you can't take your children to strip clubs or drag shows. It's inappropriate. You just can't do it. So why are we mad at him for instituting those rules on adults? That's where a lot of people's anger comes from. Oh, he's a bully, and he's, like he wants to be like Trump or whatever they say. It just seems to me like people do wrong and they have to be told that you can't do that here.
Yeah.
If you want to, you can go to some other state and see if they tolerate it there.
They do. You can go to some other states where they will welcome it, actually. Okay.
Well,
so, hey, again, this to me is just all common sense. That if people are confused on this topic, it's because they have political blinders on. That's the only reason. That's the only reason. There's no other reason that anyone could logically explain to you that within a classroom setting, we should not be talking about. And matter of fact, I took health class in the 7th grade. That's the only time I've ever remember us talking about any kind of anatomy or anything, genitalia, anything like that was in health class. That was it. There were no teachers talking to you about their weekend on the beach. That to me is so crazy. And then you have the person who's so out of touch with reality
that she's
crying on TikTok about it
because she can't talk to her first graders about her weekend.
Make it make sense. Make it make sense. It doesn't make any sense, guys. And we all need to come back to the common sense here, because I think people get riled up in emotions. They get riled up in all these things. They sit there on their feet. A lot of these people, they're not out doing anything with their lives. They're sitting at home scrolling on their phone, looking at all this negativity on TikTok, right? And then they go, he's doing this and he's doing that. But if you really get into the weeds on this stuff, is any of this stuff actually true? And if we actually look at it, is it true? Or are you just going off your emotional feed that you're getting because so many people are saying this has got to be true?
One person made a video, got 900,000 likes, so
Yeah.
you're gonna make one too.
Yeah. So I called a buddy in Miami and I said, hey, man, there's always a ton of construction going on down there, man. Is it slowing up? Are people, are the immigrants leaving? Or is it that? Are truckers, I saw a video. Oh, truckers are boycotting. They're not going to deliver any groceries to Florida anymore because he doesn't like people of color. I'm like, come on. Like, who's saying this stuff now? Now it's getting ridiculous.
Now we're at the bottom of the state. Like the last stop. Is
Come
your
on.
grocery store empty?
No, that's the thing too. Like somebody showed a video. There was a lady put a video. I don't know if she's from Florida, but she was putting a video of all these empty store shelves and all stuff, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, Florida's got a problem. They're not going to have any food. The truckers aren't going to deliver anything." I go to the store and I'm like, "There's food everywhere."
Everywhere.
And then I call people, "Hey, any truck?" I called a guy I know in Wellington. I said, "Hey, man," he said, "What are you talking about? We don't know what you're talking about." That's the point of this show today, people. We don't know what you're talking about. So I'm curious. Like I said, we live here. We're residents. We're boots on the ground. I have yet to see this stuff. So if you're in another part of Florida, hey, we'd love to hear your stories. I'm not saying it's not happening. I'm just not seeing it.
Yeah. That's all.
That's it. Anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
I think I interjected enough doubt.
Okay. This is part one. We're going to be coming back. Again, I have a surprise guest, political expert. This guy's in the books, man. This guy's in the books. He's because I have to call him to get information because I don't follow the stuff, right? So I have to call him and say, hey, man, they're saying this. He'll say, nope, that's not what it means. And then he'll have he'll have the actual information because he digs into it and because he wants to show, hey, no, he said, guys, listen, you guys get caught up in headlines and all this stuff that all these people are saying. And then you find out that most of it's not true.
And then your algorithm of your echo chamber that you're in on whatever your social media feed is becomes your new belief.
Yep. And you wake up to it every morning. You take your phone and there's 12 new videos of 12 new people.
I knew it.
And then you're like, see, and then you start sending it out to everybody. See, look, so that they said that this is they said, hey, they can say whatever they want. That's Amina's saying. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back with parts 2 and probably part 3. Appreciate it. Like and subscribe to the channel. We're out.